So Marcell Ozuna got benched after hitting a 415-foot single. Anytime you hit a baseball over 380 feet and it lands, you should be an automatic double. So yeah, that's not good. June Schwarber, he is back. Cowing off for 2 home runs yesterday against the Nationals, his former team. Juan Soto, speaking of former teams and the Nationals, Juan Soto kind of went off on his current teammates on the Padres. We'll talk about whether or not he crossed a line later on. And the Rangers offense, they look World Series ready. I'm going to knock on wood so I don't jinx them, but they have scored 28 runs over the last 2 games. I mean, that's crazy. All of that in today's MLB recap, a series in which we talk about every single game almost every single day. And just a reminder, if you're going to any baseball games or concerts anytime soon, use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save yourself 20 bucks off. Now, before we talk about all of the games from yesterday, I want to talk about the things that we missed from Saturday's games, and this one pains me. Steven Strasburg, he is experiencing severe nerve damage, and I really hope that he's going to be able to overcome this. But nerve damage, that's a serious thing. I don't think nerves can just get better. Like, you break a bone and then the bone gets better. Nerves, once they're shot, they're pretty much donezo. I'm hoping that he comes back. If he doesn't, I mean, you got to tip your cap to Steven Strasburg. The dude was absolutely money in the 2019 World Series against the Astros. He gave everything for us in that World Series. He was so much fun to watch. Aaron Judge, he is yet again on pace to hit another 55-plus home runs, even though he missed 10 games with an injury. And if that's not good enough, Aaron Judge is breaking Dodger Stadium. He robs JD Martinez in right field and then goes through the wall. Aaron Judge, I mean, he might repeat as back-to-back MVPs. Fernando Tatis Jr., I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. He's on pace for a 40 home run, 20 stolen base season. He missed 20 games, so even saying that out loud, 40, 20, missing 20 games, it almost doesn't make sense. And defensively, he is the best right fielder in all of baseball, so that's also crazy. Speaking of right fielders, Ronald Acuña Jr. just set a StatCast record. He passes Giancarlo Stanton with 10 consecutive home runs, traveling 420 plus feet. Ronald, he also has 26 stolen bases. This guy is otherworldly talented. And last but not least, in terms of the little headlines from Saturday, Zach Plesac, he was a star in 2020 in the 8 games from the COVID season. He used that season to really kickstart his career, and we thought that he was going to be really good. Nah, Zach Plesac, he has stunk it up for 3 years now. He has just been DFA'd, basically going to be released by the Cleveland Guardians. He's done. All right, the games from yesterday, let's go ahead and just deep dive into it. The White Sox and the Tigers. Spencer Torkelson almost feels like an enigma, like something who doesn't exist, but he does definitely exist, the former first overall pick. I mean, when's the full breakout coming? That's a cool home run, his 5th of the year, but he still has a negative WAR on the season and for his career. Chicago, they did get one back off the bat of Eloy Jimenez on that RBI double, and Yasmani, he ties it in the 6th inning, so it's 2-2 going into the 9th. Nothing was happening from the 7th to the 8th when Liam Hendricks, he towed the rubber and he struck out 2, so now he set himself up to get the W if Chicago can score 1 single run in the final inning. Oh my God, Jake Burger with the grand slam. I was trying to come up with a Burger pun or a joke, but I got nothing. I mean, the best I got was maybe he had beef with that baseball. I don't know. He has 12 home runs and a 147 OPS plus. Jake Burger, he started that game 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, so that's a pretty good way to avoid the golden sombrero. The Braves and the Diamondbacks, Corbin Carroll is officially in the double-digit home run club, which is crazy because it's not even the All-Star break. So it's 3-1 Arizona going into the 4th inning with Zach Gallen on the bump, so it's going to be tough to come, Ozzie Albies. Okay, he has 12 home runs and 38 RBIs as an infielder. He's also 5'8", so a 5'8" infielder with 12 home runs, almost 40 RBIs. That's crazy through 2 months of the season. So now it's 3-3. Marcell Ozuna, he thought he untied it with the home run to deep center, but he's got to understand, you got to hit a baseball 430 feet to have it leave in Arizona. So that's a 415-foot single. He was yanked from the game, and he's been crazy hot as well. So yeah, Brian Snitker, he's trying to send a message to that guy. Ketel Marte, he was then called on, and man, did he answer. We skip to the 7th, where Matt Olson teams up with Ronald again for an RBI. It's 5-5 going into the 9th, and just like Jake Burger, Eddie Rosario saves his team with a grand slam. His monster week continues. He has 3 home runs and 7 RBIs over his last 5 games. And before we move on, I am going to throw up Ronald's stats because what the actual F are we looking at? He's on pace for a 20-30 first half. The Giants and the Orioles, Baltimore fans, they could have gone home after the 3rd inning because it was basically over by then. Austin Hayes, he plays Jorge Mateo, and after Mountcastle walked with the bases loaded, rookie Josh Lester, not John Lester, he found a hole for his first career base hit, so he had multiple RBIs on his first ever base hit. Good for him. Tyler Wells, he was striking out Giants hitters left and right. He had 9 strikeouts in 5 2/3, which is not easy to do. James McCann, he went yard, and look at Aaron Hicks having himself himself a grand time, an RBI three-bagger to Triples Alley in San Francisco. He's 5 for 11 to begin his career as an Oriole, and honestly, he had a really good final week as a member of the Yankees, so he's been good for quite some time now. Now, before we talk about the Rangers and the Yankees games, I do want to talk about the Cubs taking on the Padres. Juan Soto, again, we'll talk about his comments after all of these highlights, but he nabs Ian Happ to keep it 1-0. I mean, he can sometimes let it loose from time to time in the outfield. It's not 1-0 anymore. Back-to-back home runs from Yan Gomes and Trey Mancini get the scoring started, and Dansby Swanson, he makes it a 5 spot on a double. Miguel Amaya ripped his first ever home run, and I hope that he pops off because I have a red Bowman card of Miguel Amaya. I forgot I had that, but if he pops off, I'm going to be looking pretty good. Again, he's kind of supposed to be the Wilson replacement, so we're going to keep our fingers crossed, and hopefully he can pan out. Marcus Stroman, he did Marcus Stroman things. 6 more shutout innings with 6 punch-outs. He has a 0.78 ERA over his last 3 starts. He looked really good yet again as the Cubs beat the Padres 7-1. Now, after the game, Juan Soto, he was asked about why the offense has been so inconsistent, and he basically said, "It's not my fault."
Obviously, you guys can do it, but you're not doing it on a regular basis. Any ideas why?
I don't know. I don't think I'm the guy who respond to that question.
Okay.
I think we have those guys down there. They know better than me. I don't know. I really don't know what is going on. We have such a great team. I don't know. It is. I just don't know what is the answer to that question.
I mean, he does have a point. Trent Grisham has been terrible with batting average for at least 2 years now. He's hitting 193 this year. Jake Cronenworth is hitting 200. Matt Carpenter, he's fallen off a cliff yet again. A 155 batting average. And Austin Nola, he has a 131 batting average. Why are you asking Juan Soto these questions? He's not the one that's been terrible. The Rangers and the Mariners. Jonah Heim continues to prove that he is, in fact, him, even with that haircut, or maybe his hair is tucked in. You guys have to let me know if you're a Rangers fan. Did Jonah Heim get a haircut, or is he tucking it in some bandana or whatever? Corey Seager, he went 440 on that solo shot, and 4 doubles from Texas. It's 7-0 Texas. Now it's going to be 7-1 after Mike Ford goes deep. Oh my... Travis Jankowski flew in like Spider-Man, like Miles Morales in Across the Spider-Verse. I mean, Seattle, they got embarrassed. I mean, Jonah Heim, he got it going yet again with the extra bases, ripping a 3-run home run. He's hitting 293 with 7 home runs, 46 RBIs, and a 126 OPS plus as a switch-hitting defensive wizard catcher. They lose 12-3 just a game after getting spanked 16-6 the game prior. The Rangers have won 3 in a row, and they have a plus 152 run differential that is easily the best in all of Major League Baseball. Here we go, the Yankees and the Dodgers. Bobby Miller, have yourself a day, kid. The Dodgers, they stay developing some of the best pitchers in baseball, but the only difference is this kid, he's different. He is a flamethrower. He can turn it up to 100, 101 if he wants to. He turned the Yankees into a double-A offense. He went 6 shutout innings, 7 strikeouts, just 1 base hit allowed. Domingo Germán, he was pretty good. He kept up with Bobby, allowing just 1 run late in the 7th on JD Martinez's 14th home run of the season. He's hitting 360 with 8 home runs over the last 12 games. Now, New York, they scored 2 on some ground outs, so thank you, Anthony Volpe, for doing something exciting. He hit a 2-run home run to extend the lead to 4-1 as Juan Peralta, he came in for the final 4 outs. He has 4 saves on the year. Real quick before we move on, I do want to talk about Anthony Volpe for a quick second because he's having one of the weirdest seasons I've ever seen. If I told you the Yankees rookie shortstop had 9 home runs, 13 stolen bases, and a 4 DRS defensively before the All-Star break, you're thinking, dude, that's an MVP type of player. Not exactly. He's striking out 31% of the time, and he has a 268 on base percentage. So let me know in the comments, should the Yankees send him down so we can figure out the strike zone, or should they just keep him where he is and have him play a full 162? Because I think he's on pace right now to play every single game. The Pirates and the Cardinals, this is a big-time series. The Cardinals are trying to avoid getting swept. Rich Hill, he's somehow getting the job done at 43 years old. Ji-Hwan Bae, he had a 2-run single to give Rich the lead, and it stayed that way for a while. Hill, he had 6 strikeouts, 1 run over nearly 7 innings. The Pirates bullpen, they have been very good all season long. I think they're 7th in bullpen ERA in baseball. David Bednar, 13 saves now. The Pirates do in fact sweep the Cardinals. I mean, the worst series of the year for the Cardinals in my opinion. The Pirates have won 5 in a row. Good for them. So Milwaukee, they're trying to go for their 3rd win in a row, and they're trying to keep pace with Pittsburgh because, again, Pittsburgh is on fire. If they lose this game, they'll be back in 2nd place. Now, forgive me if I botched this name because rookie Andrew Monasterio, he blasted off for the very first time in his young career. It was a big one, too. He's hitting .412 with 1 DRS already in his first 6 games. Victor Caratini, he found a barrel for Milwaukee's 2nd home run of the day, and starting pitcher Adrian Hauser took care of the rest. No walks over 7 really efficient frames. The Brewers do have a deep rotation, in my opinion. I mean, they have Adrian Hauser, Eric Lauer can be pretty good, along with Freddie Peralta, Woodruff, Corbin Corbin Burns. So Milwaukee does win, and they're barely holding on to that half-game lead over the Pirates. The Phillies and the Nationals, I don't know if the Phillies had plans for after this game. Maybe they had tickets to see Across the Spider-Verse in IMAX. By the way, I'm bringing up that movie a lot because it was so good. JT Realmuto, he popped off. I feel like I haven't said that name in quite some time. And I've never said this dude's name. Drew Ellis, I think the last time he hit a home run was 2021. He smoked a home run. And by the way, guys, it is June, so June Schwarber is back. That 3-run home run was swallowed up by Drew Ellis' second of the game as Ranger Suarez carved over 7, allowing just 1 run. Make it 2 for Schwarby. He has 49 home runs and a near 960 OPS and 136 career games in June. He is one of the best hitters of all time when the calendar strikes June. We have the Jays and the Mets. Whit Merrifield, or they call him Two-Hit Whit, he kickstarted the offensive attack with a 2-run double in the second, and there's Vladdy doing big things on the road. I say it like that because that's his 9th home run of the season. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has hit 9 home runs in America, which means he has hit 0 at home in Canada in Rogers Center. That's kind of crazy. Varsho, he walked in Toronto's 4th run, and thank goodness he did that because the Mets, they hit 4 solo shots. They got 2 from Tommy Pham, 1 from Pete Alonso, so he has 21 home runs already. Doesn't make any sense. Marte, he punished that baseball 415 feet, so like we have a tie ball. No, we didn't. Brandon belted a pitch, sorry. That 2-run moonshot wins it for the Blue Jays. Romano came in, he shut it down for his 15th save. A pretty exciting game if you ask me, but the Jays, they just barely get past the Mets, 6-4. Another team that scored 6 runs, the Tampa Bay Rays, but they got a lot of help from the other team. Stay tuned. So Manuel Margot had a single right there, and then the error from Yoshida was kind of a sign of things to come for Boston. 2 ended up scoring after that error. Before we show Boston's worst error of the night, I do want to talk about the rookie Taj Bradley. He's not going to win Rookie of the Year, at least in my opinion, but he has been very good. A 3.6 ERA and a near 12.5 strikeouts per 9 after striking out 6 more in this one against the Red Sox. And there's the kick to the nuts. Boston, they played hot potato, which resulted in a Little League home run to Yandy Diaz. Boston has lost 2 in a row, and let me know in the comments, what is the future holding for the Red Sox? Because they've made good signings with Kenley Jansen and Yoshida, but they're missing something. The Marlins and the A's, yeah, so like, I thought this was going to be the worst loss of the entire year for Miami because Sandy Alcantara, he got cooked again by the A's of all teams. They got RBIs from Esteury Ruiz, Ramon Laureano, he pushes it to 4 runs and make it 5 after Sandy threw the ball away. In 12 starts, Sandy has a 5.07 ERA, and the worst part is his strikeouts are down and the walks are up. That is never a recipe for success. Now, luckily for him, his team was facing the 2023 A staff, which means that he could go down by 11 and still be in the game. And I mean, just like that, Miami, they tied up on a Garrett Cooper 3-run home run to make it 5-5. We're going to skip to the 8th inning when Luis Ariz collects an infield single to steal the lead. He's almost hitting 400. He's hitting 392 after having 4 more base hits in this game. Miami, they score another on a strikeout. Dylan Floro, speaking of strikeouts, he struck out 2 in the final inning. He has 6 saves on the year as the Marlins, they do make the comeback. They win 7-5 over the A's. The Astros and the Angels, starting pitchers Griffin Canning and JP France, they were both pretty good in yesterday's contest, allowing 1 run each through 6 or 7 innings. Both were home runs as well. One for Yainer Diaz of the Astros and one for the Halos, Luis Rengifo. I'm hoping that Rengifo gets hot again because he had 22 doubles and 17 home runs in just 127 games last year. He was really good. The score is knotted up at 1-1 when the unicorn, the prince, whatever you want to call him, he steps in. Ohtani clutches up to drive in Zach Neto. And the former Astro, Chris Davinsky, he has been solid for the Angels ever since they picked him up. He nearly went 2 shutout innings and he hands it over to Carlos Estevez, who made light work of the Astros. He has 14 saves, a 1.42 ERA. The Los Angeles Angels, they do in fact avoid the sweep. They just barely beat the Astros 2-1. Back-to-back 2-1 games. I know that sounds super exciting, but at least we got Tristan McKenzie on the bump. He's making his 2023 debut. He's going up against Joe Ryan. So honestly, I'm lying. This is going to be a super fun matchup. And wow, did they each show up. Cleveland only allowed Tristan to throw 80 pitches because he's coming back from a shoulder injury, but he struck out 10 Twins. Oh, and he only allowed 1 base hit his entire start. Joe Ryan, he was good as well, but Cleveland finally cracked the code in the 7th, scoring twice on hits from Josh Naylor and Andres Jimenez. Andres, he's hitting 393 with a 414 on base percentage over his last 7 games. Thank God, because he has been terrible to begin the season. Willie Castro, he's been decent. 11 extra base hits and 11 stolen bases after that home run. Now, Clase, he tried to blow it again, but thankfully, he left runners on. He struck out 2 in the 9th inning to get out of that jam. He has 19 saves, which is best in baseball. So big back-to-back wins for Cleveland. They're now just 3.5 games back at first place. I just want to say thank you, baseball gods, for the AL Central being an absolute dumpster fire. The Royals and the Rockies, Kansas City fans were singing some praise for Brady Singer yesterday, who who finally did not give up 5 runs on 10 base hits. Is that mean? I mean, Kansas City fans, they'll tell you Brady Singer has been awful, so we got to be honest with ourselves, but at least he was good in this one. It was nice to see him get right. Michael Massey, he grabbed Kansas City's first run on a single as Brady Singer struck out 7 over nearly 6 shutout innings. It finally happened. Rookie Michael Garcia, he went yard for the very first time. Scott Barlow, he came in and he shut the Rockies down. He struck out the side, which is huge for the Royals because they need Scott Barlow to be as devastatingly nasty as possible because they're just going to ship him. They're going to get a lot back for him if he can keep this up. That does it for today's recap. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, do not forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. See you in the next one.